There truly is many updates that all of us as a community want to get added into the game. In the recent video where I have went through the most wanted updates in War Tycoon, which were actually posted by you guys, I have received some insane support from that, so thank you so much all for it. Looks like you guys all want to see part 2, so I guess today I'm gonna be doing a part 2 of the last video of the most wanted updates in War Tycoon, and in this video I'll be going again through the top suggestions in the War Tycoon Discord server to see what the people actually have to say and see what the community truly wants. Anyway, let's just jump right into it. Alright, so this is our suggestion number 1 from the person NeoX2077. Please add vehicle modification. Sorry for bad Photoshop, no worries. Alright, so here is kind of an example of what he means by vehicle moderation. So basically, let's say we have ourselves the Mi-28. You could upgrade to Mi-35M after you get like 45 kills with the Mi-24 or something. I think that's kind of the point he's trying to make, and I fully actually like this idea. However, I don't think something like this could be added into the game anytime soon, for the reason being they would have to add so many vehicles in the game, and the amount of designs they would have to create for each and every single upgrade, it would just be too much. Just upgradable vehicles, I feel like it would work, as that's an idea that everybody actually wants to have. Next suggestion, of course, oh yeah, and by the way, this I'm not gonna be adding any, like, because I don't really like this idea that much. Alright, so moving into the next suggestion, which has been posted by Venik Iltish, I don't know how to really say the name. Add fractions emblem or basic flag from the picture one, and then we have add factions emblems on uniform and etc. So I really do understand what he's trying to say. Basically, if our faction has a specific flag, then just having this faction flag, I guess, could be good to have on our right shoulder or something. That would really work, but I also believe that the faction members should also have like a flag above their base, because that would probably be the best choice. Because if we don't have any types of flags above our bases, it's kind of hard to tell which faction you're also fighting at. I feel like you having a choice to add something like that would be very cool. Next suggestion which we do have is remake the crouching animation even crouches like this. Okay man, this is actually Roblox. This is a funny idea and I really do understand where you're coming from, but this is Roblox at the end of the day, and I believe that their actual crouching designs are very similar to the Roblox's default on what Roblox has done themselves. So again, that's just my personal preference of this. I guess they could change it if they really want to make the movement different, but it will become much more harder to actually produce. Next one, we have ourselves the B2 stealth bomber. Would be awesome. Firepower 3, stealth would be, of course we would have stealth, bomber would be 10 out of 10, and price 2.4 mil. Honestly, this suggestion is already getting a thumbs up from me, definitely, because just having a stealth bomber would be really cool. But the problem with having a stealth bomber in the game, or also designing it, the developers would also have to make some kind of counter for stealth, meaning they would have to make some anti-stealth vehicles, or just implement anti-stealth as an upgrade inside of a vehicle as well. It would just be so much work to do, and again, I really like the idea, but I just don't see it coming in the game anytime soon. Anyway, next up we have ourselves is in this empty area of the base, a repair station / gas station would be great, as it is unfortunately just an empty unused space. It would also be great to add more German vehicles, aircraft or ships. Yeah, I agree with this. Man, I really feel like we really don't have this space used up in the whole entire base, but I also feel like the base from the behind should have a bigger port of ships, or we will just have much more space at the front of the base. I feel like this space that's just empty over here, it could be used in so much more productive ways, such as of course a gas station, or maybe once the plane lands, then the plane would also be able to repair in here. It would just be so much cool features that they could add. Anyway, next suggestion which I have over here is for the V22 Osprey that can carry crates and small vehicles. Man, I really wish it would be able to carry small vehicles such as like the JLTV, something just quite small like an ATV and etc. Man, that would be so good, because being able to just transport stuff around the map would be really nice. But for now, I don't see this happening in the game either, just for the fact that we don't really have good mechanics in the game as of physics, because the physics have been very glitchy. I once tried to get a ATV inside of the V22 Osprey. It was able to slightly fly, but then immediately crashed once the ATV moved positions, but just a little bit. Okay, so next suggestion which we have ourselves here is please add air brakes for the planes. We can't even dive now. I had 81 likes, you know what to do. Man, I really do agree with this, because once we actually try to dive down, we're just dead most of the time because of the new physics. Like the previous physics, what I really liked about them is that diving has become a little more fun, but here I feel like it is just so easy to crash, and for the lower skill group of players, it would also be very annoying to just be able to crash immediately. So yes, air brake would definitely also be nice. Okay, so next up what we have over here, one of my favorite suggestions in fact, make a computer with player statistics for all time. It will show the number of destroyed cars, tanks, helicopters and aircraft from one or another technique, the number of deaths and kills, the number of kills with a particular weapon, the number of donated and received items per donation. The first photo is where I can post statistics, and yeah, this is fully it. Man, I feel like this area over here is actually so useless. Yeah, we do have the camera area, but this area here just stands here and nobody really uses it for anything. It's just, I guess, made for looking at it. But I also feel like just having the security room much more detailed would also work, man. Just kind of like a previous video where I mentioned a way better security room. Okay, so the next suggestion which you have here is a unique one. Add the Russian Su-27 because we have almost no Russian jets and only American and British, I think, so I think it will be a good idea. Yeah, I completely agree with this. I feel like we don't have enough Russian stuff in the game, even though we do have the tanks of the likes of the T-90 and T-14, I believe that is. Yes, those are Russian produced, but in terms of airplanes, we don't really have much Russian stuff added in there. We only have stuff like the F-16, F-35, and all of these are really American, man. It does kind of suck. Next up we have this. Return this animation to the gas generator. I feel like some animations would be really good to have back in the game, and I really don't know why they removed them. And also, I feel like having the old area which had electricity stored inside of it, that was like at the front of the base before, I feel like it will be also good to bring that back. Okay, so next up what we have here is, instead of boring neon flags, make custom flags for each team, even though it doesn't make the gameplay better, but at least it makes the game a little better. Yeah, I completely agree with this. I feel like just having some flags that we could actually choose, rather than just being able to make our own flags, because if we're able to make our own flags, then inappropriate stuff can happen, like people using an inappropriate flag and etc. But just being able to use flags that the game just creates for us, that would just be way better. Also being able to pick them. One of my favorite ones, re-add the Land Rover. I really don't know why they removed the Land Rover. It was just one of the coolest vehicles in the game, and it was just so absolutely OG. I really don't know why they removed it, but once again, this gets a thumbs up from me. Please add that back, Gizmotech. Next up what we have here is add flares for AC-130 and can get shot down really easily with a Patriot or a plane. Yes, man, I don't know why the AC-130 doesn't have any types of flares, but also I feel like this version of AC-130 or this picture is much more modernized than the actual AC-130 we have in the game. I feel like the AC-130 should be revamped in some shape or form, because right now it is a little bit boring. I don't really like the AC-130 as of this current moment. Alright, once again, one of the biggest suggestions, add the Blackhawk Rope. I don't know why we do not have any types of ropes inside the game. It would just make the game so much more interesting, and it's not really some very difficult physics to produce by the game as well. It's actually pretty straightforward. Alright, next up what we have here is add a portable mortar to hit an enemy that could be on a building or somewhere hiding. Yes, man, a mortar will be so good, and the reason being is because people can just camp on top of areas which you cannot shoot down with stuff like tanks, stuff like even planes, because there are such interesting camping spots in this game. Just having a mortar to be able to shoot someone from like a very high building would also be very good. As well with that, it would just stop people from spawn killing as well. It would just make the game so much easier. Okay, so next up what we have in here is artillery. Reason is just a good addition to the game, and plus it can be really fun for raids or destroying people in specific locations. How will it work? It will be deployable by vehicle or helicopter, Blackhawk, Chinook or Stallion. It can be used by using a UI like the AC-130 to show the radius of the artillery, then click on the area in the radius and then hold F to fire at the target. Example mortars M777 had to turn off the shield if using in base. 7th time asking, man. I feel like just having an artillery in the game would also be good. And the reason why I believe this will be really good, because War Tycoon as a game is a very chaotic game with so many things that can possibly happen at the same time. And just allowing for more wider opportunities in the game for some chaotic stuff to happen will be so much better. And just having an artillery to surprise attack with somebody would just be so much better as well. Okay, so next suggestion which you have over here is add one of these in the middle of the ocean somewhere. Let it be to use to repair planes and helis. Man, I wish that we would have some kind of reparation system, but I think instead of just being able to have such a big ship built in the middle of the sea, I think it would just be better to add a simple repair button inside of our base, or just allow our vehicles to repair inside of the base. It would just be so much better, and at the end of the day, it is our base, so why shall we go to a gas station to fix something? Anyway guys, that will be probably all for today's video. I tried to show as many cool suggestions that had as much likes as possible, but also ones that were very straightforward and easy to understand, rather than people who write like so many paragraphs about just one scope being added into the game. I don't like to read these out, so apologies to whoever who I have not actually put into the video, but most of your suggestions, guys, are really good, and if you'd like to see an episode 3 of this, let me know in the comment section down below. I'll be happy to go on through some more suggestions of the most wanted updates in War Tycoon. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video, and we're probably getting an update soon, so stick out for that.